All right, bam! The future of real estate is right here, right now. This is James Orr back again, and this time we're going to chat about the entire buying process overview. And you're in for a treat. Usually when I teach this, I have to break it up into a whole bunch of different sections, and I teach, a 2-hour class on one part and a 2-hour class on another part. But today I'm going to give you sort of like the 5-minute or so overview of all the different pieces. And if through the magic of technology I can manage to show you my little visual, it's kind of like a flowchart process of what I'm talking about on the screen after I'm done doing this recording, then I'll go ahead and show that for you, and hopefully you'll like it too. So really, here's the kind of overview process of how the buying process works. So the first part is usually your first meeting with your real estate broker or your real estate agent. And usually you sit down and you're talking about a bunch of different things, like what your goals are, what kind of financing you're going to do, how to get your list of properties, what the kind of evil paperwork looks like when you're kind of working with a real estate agent. And I'm going to be sending you some tips on all those different steps here in some future emails. So kind of be on the lookout for those. But the first step really is sitting down with your real estate agent, coming up with a plan, getting all of your questions answered so that you understand and you feel really comfortable with the process, so that you're educated. And, it's a big purchase decision. And, for many people, it's the biggest purchase that they're going to make in their life. And so I feel really strongly that you should feel very, very comfortable. And so that's why we do a lot of work up front, a lot of education, so that you're ready to go. So that's step one, the first meeting with your real estate agent. Step two, after you meet with your real estate agent, there's some homework for you to do. There's some things that you need to figure out. You're gonna need to get on the phone with a lender or two or three and find out what loan program you're gonna wanna do, get qualified, talk to them about the steps you're gonna need to do in order to make sure your financing is in place. You're gonna do things like, figure out where you're gonna come up with earnest money. And I'm gonna talk about that in a future tip, because earnest money is usually the small deposit you put up when you write a contract on a property in order to show that you're serious, that you're earnest about completing the deal and following through. And if for some reason you don't follow through, you just decide, hey, I'm just not going to go ahead and show up for closing, then you're forfeiting that to the seller. So really, it's important to understand the reasons you put it up, how you can get it back, and where that money is going to come from. And so we can talk about that during the first meeting, but usually part of your pre-showing homework is figure out where you're going to get your earnest money from. If you're going to do a down payment, if you're not doing one of the two nothing down programs, the USDA or VA, if you're going to do the $1,000 down CHFA or 1% down or 3% down or 3.5% down or 5% down loan programs, where are you going to come up with that down payment money from? And so that's some of the stuff you're going to do during your homework with pre-showings. Then once you've got your homework done and you're ready to go, you're like, okay, James, we've talked to the lender. We feel really comfortable. We're going to do the $1,000 down CHFA program. We're going to use our tax return to kind of, get into a property or whatever you're going to do that. Or maybe you've got 20% down, you're going to do an investment property. It doesn't matter. It's all the same kind of steps. Say, we're ready to go. We got it all figured out. I say, great, let's go ahead. If you see a property, go ahead and just let me know. And I tell you how to request a showing. And I tell you kind of what it looks like to go and out and do the showings themselves. And so the next step as part of the whole buying process is showings. When we go look at properties together. And sometimes it'll be me. Sometimes it may be, another real estate agent that I know if it's like in the evening and I'm not working, or if it's on a weekend and I'm not working or something like that. And you need to actually have someone else just go and open the door for you and have you show the property, then you're ready to go. And then when you decide, you're like, this is the one. We've seen a couple properties. We know kind of what we've been watching the market for a while. This is the property that we want. Then we get together, we go over the process for writing an offer. And, I'm happy to go over one of the things I think is really important to do is, you don't want to be 6 o'clock at night. You're kind of dead tired from working all day at work. And then you decide to go see a property and you're really, really emotional because you just saw this amazing property, but you've never seen the paperwork, the contract to actually write an offer on a property. That's not the time to first see this thing. Really, in my opinion, you want to have reviewed it ahead of time. You want us to send over a kind of sample one that's already filled out, and we'll go through it, because you don't want to be reading through a 19-page or how many ridiculous number of pages the contract is right now at 7 o'clock at night when you're trying to get a hold of your lender after hours and you're trying to make the offer and you're emotional and you're tired and you're hungry and maybe your kids are waiting at home with the babysitter. That's not the time to figure out the contract. So ideally, we want to have all that done ahead of time. And then when you come to the writing offer, you're like, okay, I understand what's going on. I understand the process. I know about earnest money. I know about the loan programs. I know exactly what I need to do with the lender in order to get all that working. I feel super comfortable with what's going to come as soon as we go under contract, because James has gone over it with me. So once you get to that point where you're comfortable, then you say, let's move forward and write an offer. We go ahead and send it over. This is not the first time you've seen it, and we go from there. So that's the writing offer sort of part of it. Then once the seller says, okay, we agree to the terms, we've now come to an agreement, a meeting of the minds, and you're under contract to buy the house. You're a buyer who's written an offer, the seller's accepted your offer. Now we go from what's called contract to close. It's the time when you write the offer and it's accepted till the closing itself. And so all these different things happen when you're under contract. You know, we do the inspection, we do the appraisal, you get to go review due diligence documents, you get to go review the HOA documents, and we'll help you do all that stuff, but I want to go over it with you when we go over that process, the contract to close. You can see how this is like multiple 2-hour classes, right? So basically though, you go to contract to close, and then there's the closing. That's the day you show up. The lender brings the majority of the money in most cases to the closing. You sometimes bring your small down payments. You know, or if you're doing nothing down, you don't need to bring anything. You know, if you're doing $1,000 down, maybe you actually put that up as earnest money. Maybe you have to come in with $1,000 at that point. Depends on how we structure it. But basically, the lender brings the money. You come, you sign a ton of paperwork, stretch out your hand, because it's going to be a really a signature intensive morning or afternoon. And so you're going to sign a whole bunch of documents, you know, documents that transfer title to the property, and documents that you know, get the loan and stuff like that. Basically, you're financing on the property. So that's closing. And then after closing, there are things that we do. You know, we keep you informed about what's going on in your neighborhood. You know, if you're going to convert this to a rental, or you're going to do the Nomad investing model, you're going to save for retirement, you're going to save for college using real estate. We've got all sorts of strategies. And so we're there to support you. You know, whatever that looks like for you, it's really your option. So if you want to attend some of our investing classes and get help and decide you want to become a professional investor, or you get some passive income, or whatever you want to do, no worries. We're there to support you after the transaction. So with that being said, not a 2-hour plus class on little subtopics, but that's sort of the big picture 5-minute overview of all the different steps in the buying process. So if you do ever want to attend the classes and access some of the video recordings of the classes or anything like that, you want to become a client, you know, go ahead and just reach out to me. My email address is jamesorr@gmail.com, and I'm happy to do that for you. And if you come to class, you know, we give out a copy of this book. This is actually on the Nomad investing strategy. It's basically how to acquire a portfolio of passive income generating investment properties, starting with very little money. I mean, you could do the nothing down loan program and then start acquiring rental properties one at a time using the strategies taught in this book. And it goes over, you know, how to catch up for retirement, and you know, how to do this if you're just out of college, to pay for college if you've got student loan debt, or if you've got young kids, how to actually buy real estate that'll pay for their college. That's actually a really big one. Or if you, you know, if you want to leave a legacy for your kids, it's one of the things we're doing. It's got a whole bunch of different strategies in it, and we give this book away for free when you attend the live class. Or if you're a client and you don't want to attend the live class, I'm happy to give you a copy too. But we do give these away free to anyone who attends any of the live classes, and the classes are free as well. So we do that. And then if you kind of were followed along there and you couldn't do that, clients, once you become a client, you get a copy of this book. I wrote this book too. I wrote the Nomad book as well. And I wrote this book. And this is basically all the checklists on the buying process and the selling process. And at the back, it's got a referral directory with a whole bunch of people. So it's got everything you need in order to buy a house, specifically for Northern Colorado. And you know, when we sit down as part of the first meeting, I give you a copy of this, and you can go ahead and read it at your leisure. Or if you don't want to read it, I'm happy to tell you everything you need to know. Or come to the classes, whatever works best for you. So we give you all these tools to do that. So if you want to sit down and go over that, just let me know. You know, and again, thank you. We really do appreciate you. We appreciate our clients. You know, it's our clients that allow us to be in business. And, you know, we feel, Tammy and I both feel honored to serve and to be there to support you whenever you're ready to buy or sell. And there's never any pressure for me. I mean, we're here long term. We've been doing the classes since 2003. I've been licensed since 1998. And it really is our privilege to be able to help people buy and sell houses. And it really gets me excited. I'm passionate about helping people, first-time home buyers and investors, acquire rental properties and passive income. And so we're happy to do that. So if I can help you in any way as a real estate broker, you know, buy or sell a house, I'm happy to do so. So this has been James Orr with James Orr Real Estate Services. Until next time.